For years, Kylan and I have been assessing the quality of records on a scientific level for the greater good. But this time, it's personal.
Oh, my God.
Intro.
Oh, my God. No. We got to leave all this in, too. This is Disco Dads. We're dads. Discography. God, we haven't done. I mean, when was the last time we did one?
Yeah,
of
I know.
these?
We have an intro for this, but we do not remember.
I'll just
how
copy
it
and
goes.
paste the intro from the whatever the
Perfect.
last one was, but then I'll insert "New Again" by Taking Back Sunday.
Yep. They'll never know.
Yep. They'll never know unless we leave all this in too.
We would
Who
never.
knows? I mean, I'm of the mind with Patreon, we could just let it all hang out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing a Disco Dads. For those of you that may not know, Josh and I are both dads, and we like to talk about discographies. Thus, the Disco Dad name was
Hence
born.
the name. Yes.
Yeah, and really it's just kind of a way for us to talk about bands we like, because we talk a lot on Church Names Now. Not that they are bands that we do, not that it's all bands that we don't like. I mean, obviously we talk about a lot of music we do like, but we have musical tastes that range beyond 90s and 2000s Christian music, although my Spotify would tell you different.
Your algorithm is like, I don't think so lately, Kylan.
Yeah. It's like, I think you love All Star United.
Oh, here's the new Newsboys track.
Yeah, exactly. But it is so
I've been
weird.
getting Toby Mac lately, too.
Oh, yeah.
Toby Mac's getting ready for his new
Toby
album.
Mac.
Like,
Yeah.
cool, thanks, Spotify.
But I'm like, I want to talk about The National. I want to talk about Brand New, Manchester Orchestra.
Yeah, we've talked about so far for the Patreon plug. We've talked about Manchester Orchestra. We talked about Jimmy Eat World. We talked about a Say Anything record. And I think we talked kind of about one of the National. And I think just the National in general.
It was just The National
for
in
the
general. That was the
yeah.
first episode, was just
So
The
we
National.
do need to get
So we got to get a
more
specific record.
disco on their Sad Dads band. That is the National.
That's true. Right? Because wasn't like, I wanted to do something with Sad Dads as the name of this originally, but then The National came out with all that merch, and I was like, oh, okay, well, can't do that. But I love Disco Dads as a name.
Yep, that's fun. It's fun.
So we're going to talk Taking Back Sunday
Yeah, we are.
tonight. And this was kind of a not last minute decision, but what I like about Disco Dads is like I don't have to prepare as much. And
You've been preparing for this since this record came out, though, in all honesty.
that's true. Yeah, we're going to talk about New Again.
Controversial Taking Back Sunday album. Maybe not
Yeah.
even controversial for the overall fan base.
Right.
And this is fun because I don't think we've ever sat down and discussed this.
No, exactly.
We know, like I've mentioned it, and like you know where I stand on this record, and I know where you stand on this record, but we've never like
Right.
really gotten into it, and it's been years.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Well, and so then the other day, so I've been driving Willow to dance rehearsals because she takes ballet now. We always listen to rock and roll. And I was tired of picking stuff on my Spotify, and I had my CD wallet in the car under the seat. And I have New Again on CD. So the
Wow.
other day,
The original one that you bought,
yep.
like back in 2009.
Uh-huh.
Look at that, still going strong.
Yeah, I still have it. I've got some good stuff in there. I've got Do You Feel by Rocket Summer. I've got Never Take Friendship Personal. Suck Out the Poison.
Nice.
Set It Off by TFK.
Heck
that I
yeah.
got when I was like 14. I still have that. Yeah, so I was like, in terms of Taking Back Sunday CDs that I have Tell All Your Friends, Where You Want to Be, Louder Now, and New Again. That's it. But I popped New Again on because it had been, I mean, I don't think I'd listened to the entire album, I don't know, 5-6 years at least. Well, no, because 5 years ago was 2020. Maybe closer to 10.
Wow.
That I
Okay.
listened to it all the way
the full
through.
way.
So, and we'll get into it. I want to do, so I didn't realize you have research, which is like always the coolest part of Church Jams now. So I'm
always
really
the
excited.
coolest. Always your favorite part.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
I knew it was your
absolutely-
favorite. I couldn't leave you hanging here. 'Cause I'm
Yeah.
like, Kylan's going to come expecting some research.
Well, okay, so like peek behind the pop filter too, because I think I say in the Devil Wears Prada episode, or one of the episodes recently, I'm like, hey, do you guys notice I'm doing a back and forth thing where sometimes I love the research and sometimes I don't, but I keep forgetting which one, and I think I've actually done like 4 in a row where I just hate the research.
It's how it feels.
I think that's become the bit, and I'm very sorry because I really do.
It feels. All my hard work.
I know. Well, I'm trying to clear the air. I really do love the research. And so maybe you should do some general like context and stuff for this record, and then we can get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. So we've never talked about Taking Back Sunday before. So of course, Taking Back Sunday is from New York. Their career is from 1999 to the present, where they just did an album. Was it last year? Or was it 2 years ago? Whenever that last album came out.
That is a good question.
Man, time is crazy now because I'm like, I
It was
could've
last
sworn
year.
that was last year. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad
No,
it
wait.
wasn't.
No. 2 years ago.
Oh
2020.
my
Sorry, I
gosh.
thought 2023 was last year. Yeah,
This proves my point. Yeah.
October 2023. I know. Well, that's
Wow.
what I was like. Yeah, 5 years ago is 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, that's wild.
Which is crazy, but they're still going to this. Their first album in a long time. But members for this record, excuse me,
You're not even in a bivouac.
I'm not even in. That's what I need. I need an bivouac.
It's true. Listeners to this, please comment and let me know if you know what a bivouac is. I'm worried this is another Wimple situation
Yeah, it is. Kylan is currently in a bivouac.
because it is 10 degrees.
Yep.
If
It
that
is
gives you some
committed to the show.
context.
Yep, it helps. Not just for fun, but for a purpose.
You know what? I think I learned about bivouacs because I went to elementary school for a few years in Nebraska. And there's a big
Big
focus
thing up
on
there?
like pioneers and stuff. And I think bivouacs were a big pioneer thing.
That makes sense. You didn't get that in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah,
They're not as big on bivouacs
No,
down
I
there.
didn't learn about bivouacs.
That's. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Weird.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so members for this record that we're talking about today are Adam Lazzara on lead vocals, Eddie Reyes on rhythm guitar, Mark O'Connell on drums, Matthew Urbano on bass, and Matthew Fozzi on lead guitar, keyboards, and backing vocals. And this is the only lineup, or the only record
with
from this
this.
lineup. Yeah, of course, with Matthew Fozzi, of course. But whether you like this lineup or not, they are responsible for one of the best TBS songs. I, of course, am referring to "We All Love Our Pets" from Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yes.
That is a good
Oh
song.
my god, dude, we should do a Disco Dads just on Yo Gabba Gabba.
There's some good songs out
There
there.
are some really good ones. And have you seen the new one? There's a new Yo Gabba Gabba series on Apple Plus.
No, I saw like a super cut for all like the songs that were going to be in it, but I didn't know if it'd come out.
No,
yet.
there's some good stuff, but it's so weird because the first iteration of that show is so millennial. Like, and the guest stars are like Jack Black and Michael Cera, and then the music guests were like Taking Back Sunday, and then the new one, it's still really good, but I feel like I'm already starting to like age out of some of the references and things.
Oh, really?
And some of the people, yeah.
Okay. We'll have to do it for the show to see.
But
what you age
yeah,
out of.
no, that's great. That is one of the best Taking Back Sunday songs.
It
That
is a
should have
great
been in my
song.
Taking Back Sunday top 10.
Have we done one yet?
Oh, I don't know. My wife and I,
I don't know.
my wife and I
Oh.
have. I don't know if you and I have.
I don't think we have. Okay.
Oh man,
You can. There's still time to put it in there.
that's true.
It's true. Okay, so the record we're talking about is New Again, which was released on June 2nd of 2009. So at the time of recording, it is 15 years old.
Were they still on Warner Brothers?
They were, yeah, they were. It is important to note that this record, we're recording this in February, like when Kylan said, it's 10 degrees outside. It's very important to note that this is absolutely a summer record, in my opinion. And it came out in the
Yeah.
summer, so I'm like,
Yeah.
that's when we should be listening to it. That's when to get the best experience with the record. But here we are. It is their fourth LP. It is on Warner Bros. Producer was David Kahn. It was mixed by Tom Lord Alge. and it debuted on Billboard 200 at number 7.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, however, their first record not to go RIAA Gold or higher, because Tell All Your Friends is platinum. But
That's wild.
it is, yeah. But also at this time, the music industry was definitely crashing. So I'm going to blame
100%.
some of that on that,
Yeah.
but also could be some of the response to this record as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I have is this is 11 songs at 37 minutes and 59 seconds.
Not too shabby.
Mean and mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about this lineup?
I mean, I like it. I have like a
Yeah.
note on it if we want to get into it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So do we want to do this? Do we want to go? Do we want to talk about it a little more generally, or should we like dive in and then kind of intersperse all of our?
Yeah. We
thoughts?
can do that. Talk a little more generally about it.
Okay. Yeah.
As
so
a
what
long
was?
time.
Oh
sorry.
no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, as the long time Taking Back Sunday fan, I want to know about how you felt when this record first came out and your response to it. Because you'd been on board since right before, was it Where You Want to Be, or was it after Where You Want to Be?
It was like literally the weekend that Where You Want to Be came out. Because I went to a D Now and someone had brought it. Someone had bought it like that day, and we listened to it all weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, and I went and bought Louder Now, Day Of. I think I bought this Day Of. Did you come with me? I feel like you...
No, this was the like 2 months before we.
Oh,
were
right.
roommates.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I bought this Day Of because Louder Now... I loved Louder Now kind of instantly.
Louder Now's great.
It definitely was a little weird because it was like their major label debut, and it felt a lot slicker than Where You Want to Be, but I was here for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this record came out, and I think I almost had like a little bit of a Phantom Menace situation where
Yep.
I like tried to convince myself I really liked it. And I think I listened to it probably like throughout that summer and then not really again. I didn't really revisit it. There were a couple songs that I would definitely like go back and listen to pretty regularly, but I didn't often listen to the entire record the way that I did with the first 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll definitely get into that more. But I want to know your history with this record. Because, okay, and let's just talk about Taking Back Sunday in general.
Okay.
And your relationship with Taking Back Sunday. Because you're definitely more of a, like you came to them a lot later, so you don't have the nostalgia.
No.
That I do.
I definitely, if I were to tell you like the Taking Back Sunday records and songs I like the most, a regular Taking Back Sunday fan would be offended at my takes. And I'm not saying that like, because I recognize the difference between like important records they made and records that I enjoy more from them.
Right.
So that's like, I was like, I'm not saying that Tell All Your Friends is a terrible record. I was like, obviously it's an important record, but
it's a
definitely
debut
not.
record.
It's a debut
and like
record.
I
yeah.
absolutely love it because I have so much nostalgia for it.
Yeah, exactly. So I honestly, like, I think I knew, of course, like Q Without the E and probably Make Damn Sure, but it wasn't until meeting you that I was like, oh, Taking Back Sunday. Like, I know a little bit about them, and then you introduced me to them, and then I remember Joe was like, when you and Joe were throwing away all your CDs, I got his copy of Louder Now.
Nice.
And I remember I was like jamming to that the following summer in 2010 is what that would have been, is when I kind of started digging my toes into, other than outside of what I just heard with you whenever we were riding around town together.
Right.
So, and my exposure to this record was kind of based on you, because I knew that you weren't like super a big fan. And because of that, like I never bothered to like check out the record until years later. It was the summer of 2016, and it was right around June. Because I remember I was like right around the time I was like looking for a place to live, and I guess I just like saw this was like I don't know how. I just saw it was like I got it for cheap or something like that, and so I was like, okay, I'll just check it out. And I wasn't expecting a lot like good things from it. And then I listened to it, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I've always kind of been like with my relationship with Taking Back Sunday is kind of like the classic Crime, whereas like I can't ever get into them fully enough to where they feel like a band for me.
Right.
But there's obviously like certain songs and kind of certain records that I enjoy enough. But this was, I feel like the first one that I was like, oh, this one I'm like fully into, which was kind of a new experience for me with Take Back Sunday.
Yeah.
So it is interesting. So, and I know we've kind of like discussed it a little bit because I know that you know that I like this record a lot.
Yeah.
But we've never really gotten into all of it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to come out and say it. I have despised is not the right word. I've not been a fan of this record for many, many, many years. I popped it on the other day and I was like, this is a pretty good record.
Oh, look at you.
But I initially felt really sold. But I don't we'll have to get into it more towards the end of kind of where I land now.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. So this is why I wanted to talk to you about it.
I didn't know which way, because you texted me, you're like, I listened to it recently and I have thoughts. And
exactly.
Like, this could go either way.
Exactly. I did this on purpose. I remembered a lot more of the songs than I thought I did. And B, I enjoyed it a lot more than I remembered as a whole. So, yeah, although I like Matt Fozzy as a addition to the band. I think also like part of it though, like part of my reaction to this record was I was so bummed that Fred left because
he's a huge loss.
Like I stand by the fact I think Fred was the most musically talented person in that band.
Oh, yeah, I think I definitely agree with you. Yeah,
Mark is probably like close behind, but then this is
a great bass.
I was gonna say this is the last record with Matt, and I was initially so excited when the original lineup,
when Sean Cooper and John Nolan came back,
and then I started listening to it and I was like, oh no,
yeah, because I guess like Fred and Matt Rubano both went to like study jazz in college or something like that. So like they definitely have some chops when it comes to music.
Yeah, but so it was interesting because I was reading too. So Fred left right before they started this record, and he said he was really tired of touring, and all the stuff he was writing was too pop of a direction that the rest of the band wanted to go heavier. And then you listen to this record, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This is pretty pop, guys.
This is like pop rock. Like, this is pinnacle pop rock.
Yeah.
Like, you have all the claps and and we'll get into it. But it's just like any song that starts with like 16th note claps and yell, I'm just like, yeah, this is...
Hey, yep.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah. No, I think I was reading the same. It was like that alt press interview that Matt Rubano was talking about, which is interesting because there's a couple things before we get into it if you want to talk overall. So it's interesting that I was reading about how the guys talk about the record, about it, and I read some stuff that they were saying that based on how the producers vision was different than theirs, and how it turned into something a little bit differently than what they were thinking they wanted it to be. But at the same time, I'm like, that might be true to some regard, but I'm also curious how much of it is based on just the reception of it. And they were because based on Matt Rubano says
distance themselves from it.
Yeah, because he said that he said it was the golden time when I was oh, we're doing music that we all really like, that we can't wait to get out. And then the record came out, it didn't really hit. And he said, and then there was a very decisive mood turn in a band that was already insanely moody all the time. And it was self-loathing, and it was this record sucks and our band sucks. And it's I have to imagine that a lot of that is probably if they would have had a much better reception, do you think they would have been oh, it still wasn't the direction that we wanted the record to go? Or they would have been yeah, we love it too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's totally just reactionary.
Yes.
of being like, oh no, it wasn't totally our fault, guys. But I love that, a band that was already moody all the time. I mean,
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's get into it. Let's get into the songs.
one before we do, my last thing is what I'm going to be speaking on for this episode is I am going to give justice to Matthew Fozzy because I think they did him pretty dirty on this record. In the same interview that I was reading with from Matt Rubanu, he was saying that he's like, when they found a guy, Matthew Fozzy, that they liked, I remember him being apprehensive at first because he was this very nice, very talented, ambitious, happy guy, and I was like, this guy isn't going to last with us. This guy's the wrong fit. And it's like, that's so sad that like
I know
they get another guy that seems to have his head on straight after losing Fred, who I think has his head on straight.
Exactly.
And the band is just too dysfunctional that he isn't a good fit because he is functional.
Right. Yeah, no, that is messed up. That whole band, man, have you seen them live? Have we talked about this?
We've talked about them live recently, yeah. No, it's every time like they play a festival and like my wife and I see videos of them on like social media, we're like, man,
it's bad.
And even it's like it used to be Adam. I feel like it's John now too. Is rough.
Yeah, dude, they were all so wasted when I saw them. This was back in like 2017. Saw them with Every Time I Die.
What?
Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday and Every Time I Die.
Yeah, and they were so wasted. And then you could pay $10 more to go to the bar downstairs where John Nolan was doing a DJ set. It was the worst $10 I've ever spent in my life. He was just chugging Miller Lite, like glassy-eyed, like just like almost catatonic, just pushed a button on his MacBook. And I went and tried to talk to him. And like I never like talk to bands really, but I'm like, there's like 15 people here. Like I'm and he just like stared at me. He was like,
he was just out.
Okay.
He was just out of it.
Just done. Yeah. I was like, this sucks. And Adam's voice was awful. They were just because like I have said for years, if I could go to any show like throughout history, I would have wanted to go to a Taking Back Sunday Long Island show, like right before Tell All Your Friends came out.
Okay.
Because if you see like pictures and stuff, like just like basically like a hardcore show, like just absolutely wild, and that kind of energy, I just feel like they don't seem like they want to be in a band anymore.
Well,
right?
and I mean they've had people dropping like flies, like Eddie Reyes left a while ago, and then Mark left too, I think.
Yeah, I think Mark
finally
left
after all these years. So it's just Adam, John, and Sean.
Yeah, it's like, you guys don't have to do this. You know that, right? Like, no one's making you do this. Is someone making you do this?
Blink twice.
Yeah.
It's okay to hang it up. It's been 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, more than 20 years at this point. You said 99.
Yeah. Tell Your Friends was 03, right? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
02 or 03.
02. I think it was 02, 04. And then,
yeah. Okay. Well, let's get ready to get new again.
Mm-hmm.